Hey, you're using a kettlebell wrong. Glenn Weinstein here, and I want to teach you how to use a kettlebell correctly, from the most basic all the way through to the most complex. This is how to perform a perfect kettlebell swing. Doing the perfect kettlebell swing is really just about getting three things right. A strong hip hinge, a flat back, and straight but soft legs. Okay, the idea here is to engage your core, to load into your hamstrings, to use glutes, hamstrings, and hip driver to force the motion forward, squeezing your core as the weight extends ahead of you, and then dropping your shoulders with a flat back down as the weight travels between your legs to elastically load those hamstrings and glute muscles as much as you can with each rep. Simple as that, really. Now let's go through it. So from the starting position with the kettlebell just ahead of you, squat down nice and low, keeping a flat back, and reach for the handle in the center. You want both hands to be evenly on the handle and your arms to be long, extended through your lats. So your back is nice and long, you've got a flat back, and you've hinged from your hip. As you start the motion, you're going to go from that squat position to a soft, straight leg, okay? So up to standing, but making sure that you don't lock your knees. What this will do, if you pull the weight off the floor, is lead the kettlebell in between your legs. That starts the perfect kettlebell swing. Now from this position, what you should feel like you're doing is driving your hips forward. Now as you drive your hips forward, I want you to keep a flat back, keep your chest puffed up, keep a small arch in your lower back, and pull your shoulders up towards the ceiling. So from the bottom position of that kettlebell swing with the weight in between your legs, I want you to feel like at the same time you're driving forward from your glutes, keeping a flat back and drawing your shoulders up towards the ceiling. Now as the kettlebell swings ahead of you, it should finish just above shoulder height. And in this position, your shoulders should be just behind your hips. So you should be kind of leaning back. Okay, I don't want you to load into your back. I do want you to pull the weight up ahead of you and make sure that your shoulders are about 5 to 7 degrees behind your hips. From this position, you allow the weight to take a natural swing pathway back between your legs, making sure, most importantly, that you keep your legs straight but not locked, that you keep your back flat but not overarched, and that you drive your shoulders down towards the floor to ensure that the kettlebell gets as low and as far between your legs as possible. Now what you should feel as you're at the bottom of this motion is your hamstrings get nice and tight, your lower back and your glutes become loaded with elastic tension, and then you unravel again by forcing those hips forward, squeezing your glutes, nice tight core, and drawing your shoulders up towards the ceiling. Now, as you can see, there are a million different ways to swing a kettlebell in a number of different planes of motion as well. This is the most basic. Master this one first, and you can build everything else from here. When it comes to Turkish get-ups and more complicated moves like that, we'll go through a simple video to teach you every stage of that as well. However, mastering your kettlebell flows from the feet starts with a perfect swing. Think about your hip hinge, your glute drive, and staying tall through your posture. You should not be pulling the weight through your shoulders. It should not feel like a shoulder raise. This is an exercise where momentum is key, and driving the weight forward using your core strength and using the elastic load of a number of different muscle groups is really important. In my opinion, most women should start with an 8, most men should start with a 12 or 16. This is most people. Please don't think I'm prescribing you a weight. If 8 is far too heavy or 12 is far too light and vice versa, pick the weight that makes sense for you. Simple exercise, go away and practice it. Do it for sets of 10, do it until your heart rate jumps up. I promise you, that's the only exercise you need. If that's your only goal, to get in and out of the gym as fast as possible and burn as much fat as possible, that's one of the only exercises you really need. Hope that's been helpful. Click subscribe because I'm going to be going through every single one of the swings you saw me do at the beginning and so many more. There's endless things you can do with a kettlebell, endless exercises to work every single body part in as free a range of motion as possible. So hit subscribe, head over to Instagram, follow Glenn Weinstein Fitness, check out Glenn_PT on Twitter as well, and if you still use Facebook, it's Glenn Weinstein Fitness. Go check it out. hit subscribe and let me teach you how to use a kettlebell properly.